This is a very early photograph. Some of the founding members of the club. There's Arthur Farmer behind the wheel, Bert Garrett, Jack Dalton, Stan Chappell with his accordion, Teddy Clough, Choggy Ammon, Cliff Dalton on the extreme right, and I can't identify the other chaps, and the trusty old Ford. Quite an old photograph, that one. And here's a group pre-war at City Beach, near the site of our City Beach hangar, clubhouse. The girls are Irene Jones, Doreen Lilly and Cathy Thickbroom. We have Alf Cole, Bob Shearer peering over his head, Basil Shivler, Bob Grantham peeping between Doreen and Cathy, Stan Chappell, Buckle on Loop's shoulders, Tom Elliott in the front there on the left with his tongue protruding, and I can't identify the other fella. Perhaps somebody else has got a better memory than I have. They were great days at the beach. Here we are at City Beach again. On the left is Jack Dalton in the prone position, John Lilly, Freddie O'Neill, Lenny Nash, and Bob Grantham on the right in the prone position. And these were a pair of skis that we owned, that we enjoyed. And we weren't trying to break our necks in the gliders. We'd try and drown ourselves on these devices in the Indian Ocean. They were great days. There's Bob Grantham trying out the growing nacelle of the secondary. Fuselage supported by John Lilly. That pat on the port side of Bob's shoulder is a cow pat, as I recall. I don't know why it was there, but Bob probably knows. Here we have Bob Grantham in the secondary, in the completed state. This is on the beach, at City Beach. Full frontal of the secondary glider on the beach. Jack Dalton in the secondary, John Lilly in the secondary. It's our hangar at West Subiaco. That's my first attempt at sign writing. The title of the club and the logie. And that's our own ranger on the left and the Clem on the right. Another view of the Clem. This was imported by Itashagan before the war. Flown a lot by Harry Baker and later I think by Gil Ford. The Spartan Moth at West Subiaco Aerodrome. From left, reading from the left is Lenny Nash, John Lilly, Bob Grantham, Freddie O'Neill and Phil Oldfield up at the front. Quite a large aircraft, that. Here's the Roan Ranger at West Subiaco Aerodrome with Percy Allen on the left and Bob Rex on the right. A group at West Subiaco Aerodrome. I can't identify them all, but it looks like Cleve Gandy, Bob Grantham, Eric Lane, a young Bob Lilly, Alf Cole, Arthur Anderson, Percy Allen, and on the extreme right, Jack Dalton, complete with pipe. So there might have been a working bee on, but look at the tools we're shouldering. Here's the early feathers of the Eglon Eagle. It's a sailplane designed by Gil Ford. And this is taken on the front lawn of his home in Wembley in the early stages. And 3 of us from the club assisted him in the construction. Later on, the Depression was felt by Gil, and he passed the project over to the club, and we finished it off at City Beach. Quite an ambitious project. And John Lilly trying out the cockpit. The empennage is completed there. That again is on the front lawn of Gil's home at Wembley. Here's the line-up at the Easter camp at Walsh's property, I should say, which was west of the township of Northam. We've got the Egerline Eagle, the secondary, and our primary, PG2. On the extreme right is our retrieving jinker. Here's a group that was seated in front of the Egerline Eagle at Walsh's property. There's, on the left, Tom Moulton, Eric, Luke Lane, Bob Shearer, Bob Grantham, John Lilly. Both Eric and Bob Shearer were pilots in the war and gave their lives for this country. Here's the Egerline Eagle in flight. You'll notice the fully depressed elevator, which is evident, giving evidence to the fact that the CRG was badly located. And we tried the bush treatment of placing ballast in the nose with quite disastrous results. But that's another story. Here's a primary leaping off, PG2 this is, leaping off a hill at Northam. Now here's a group of keen gliding aspirants. This is taken in the main street of Northam in Western Australia. That's our trusty old Fiat. And our open glider trailer. Reading from the left is Ken Rex. I'm not sure of the next gentleman. It's John Lilly, Fred O'Neill and Bob Grantham. This is the Dalton at Lake Pinjar. After the Egerline Eagle was pranged, the fuselage tail feathers were found to be irreparable, so we redesigned the fuselage. Less ambitious project, slab-sided as you can see. And we named the aircraft the Dalton, and I believe this is the only glider in Australia ever to be named after a man. And that's the Dalton, and it was quite a stable and pleasant aircraft to fly. It's Basil Shibler trying out the cockpit. Here's the Dalton. on tow at Lake Pinjar, auto tow. We achieved quite good heights there. We had a good run on the lake bed. Here's the PG2 flown by John Lilly. This is being auto-towed off the dry lake bed at Lake Pinjar. Picked up quite a bit of grass there in the around about the base of the rudder there. We could have done with a tail skid. And this is Arthur Farmer's Immaculate Grano Baby 2 at Lake Pinjar around about June 1940. And this was built by Arthur Farmer and Selwyn Lowe. And, there's a credit to both of them. Beautifully finished. And this glider was the first glider to go cross country in WA, flown by Arthur Farmer. From, I believe, Lake Pinjar to Leighton Beach, if memory serves me correct. These aircraft, the Grano Babies, were built in their thousands pre-war and in their hundreds post-war. Very popular utility sailplane. Here's a lineup. There's Bob Shearer, Jack Dalton, Freddie O'Neill, Basil Shibler, John Lilly, Bob Grantham, Bob Raper. I don't know who the gentleman is in the pith helmet, but perhaps somebody else does. We launched in those days by shock cord, which required a lot of energy. You can see the rugged terrain and plenty of rocks around to match those that we had in our head in those days. This was a completely stalled state of flight from way to go, but he survived it. John Lilly running down with a jinker to retrieve the primary, ready for the next victim. The centre of the fuselage there, the big fella, is Big Mac McPherson, who lost his life in a Moth Miner early in the war. It's Bob Raper with a beret on the port wingtip. Here's the Eglon Eagle on its first low hop, flown by Gil Ford. This film's quite old and almost illegible now. Here's another low hop, again flown by Gil Ford. Fair bit of pump handling going on there, Gil. Here's the secondary. We use this attempt to achieve our B certificates. Secondary again. My memory's failing, but I think about 4 of us flew that particular day until Bob Grantham came to grief in it. Here's our campsite under the trees. we weren't blessed with a great deal of money in those days, but we had a lot of ingenuity and a lot of energy, and we looked after ourselves pretty well. Here's the midday meal being enjoyed by all. Now Secretary Alf Cole pouring the tea. His able assistant Bert Garrett, a very young Bert. Bob Grantham with a shawl or a blanket round him there on the right of the picture. Secondary again. We're off again to retrieve the secondary. You couldn't get people to work like this today in gliding. And here's Bob Grantham at the helm. And Bob's about to show us how not to land a glider. That's what happens, Bob, when you make a boo-boo. Here's the Dalton being test flown at West Subiaco Aerodrome by Jack Dalton. Jack puts it down very nicely. Jack Dalton again, and the Dalton, West Subiaco Aerodrome, second test flight. You'll notice he has to achieve a downwind landing here. He had no option. A very miserable little aerodrome and surrounded by trees. Didn't give us a great deal of scope. This is the Arthur Farmer's Gruno Baby being auto-towed off Lake Pinjo, the dry lake bed. Again, another launch. The Gruno Baby. Here's the auto towing vehicle. And here's the Gruno, gaining quite a lot of altitude. You might notice that it's finished in clear dope, which we know now is a mistake. Timber aircraft should be protected by the red and the silver dope. Here's the Gruno coming into land.